Hi everyone, my name is Christian Fekete and I'm from RACPAC team. Our team works on quite many things, but my main focus is ODA, and Hagen and I are more or less responsible for ODA related technical briefs, and Hagen owns the solution in a box paper, which practically describes the best practices and around creating DB systems and application guest on ODA with step-by-step guides, and also it includes guidance to deploy our softwares like EBS, PeopleSoft on ODA. But today I will cover the conversion of VMware OVA template to KVM. Practically, the procedure is pretty much the same for all other virtualization platform. The tool that actually converts these images and vDisks coming from the previous or legacy virtualization technology is Camo image, and what Camo image supports. Basically, it can be converted to KVM, and that can be deployed on ODA. So I'm covering VMware over to KVM on this presentation, but this applies to other virtualization technologies. Actually, we receive these kind of questions via SRs as well from support. And I mean, support gets those questions from customers. So seems it's a really popular topic, especially as ODA has lots of cores now as we move to AMD. So customers are interested in how they can utilize the entire machine instead of just caging their databases on bare metal and reduce the number of usable cores. They would like to leverage on virtualization and put their databases into DB systems and deploy their applications on the same ODA in application KVM guests. So in this example, and it's easily reproducible if you have access to ODA, or actually you don't need an ODA for that. You just need a Linux machine. Just you need to remove the ODA specific flavors, but you can easily play with it if you want to. So I used an example of a template that I downloaded from Fedora, just to try to simulate that not everything is Oracle based, and practically what you need to do with the OVA template is that you have to untar it. And in my case, it included one vDisk and the metadata file, or actually two metadata files, sorry. And if you have more than just one vDisk, from the metadata files, you can figure out which one is the OS image and which other disks are the vDisks that you also have to convert and attach to the VM. And in my case, I had just one vDisk that I had to, or OS image disk that I had to convert. But if you have multiple VMDKs or disks, vDisks, actually, then you have to convert all of them the same way. So there is no difference in the procedure for the OS image disk and the additional vDisks. So what you need to do after entering the OVA template, you have to convert these vDisks or OS image disk to KVM RAW format. It's important because, RAW is an important piece of information because KVM's native format is QCOW2. But I don't know the history, but ODA uses RAW format and not QCOW2. And if you convert the OS image disk to QCOW2, then and you basically deploy a new VM out of this system image, it won't work. So you must convert it into the right format. And on the ODA, you can find this camo image disk because it's part of libvirt. You have to convert it to the right format, and you provide the disk name and the output file name. So practically, I got the system image disk in RAW format, and after that, just a second. Yeah, I mentioned it here. If you have additional vDisks, then you have to convert them the same way. But there is a slight difference in those cases. For the additional vDisks, you have to create vDisk with the ODA tooling, ODA CLI create vDisk. It will create an empty vDisk. And when you query the vDisk that you created, you will get the path of the empty disk. And you have to overwrite this file with the one that you converted from the OVA template. And if you have multiple vDisks, you have to repeat these steps, and practically you have all the system image plus the vDisks in the right format, and they are ready to be used to create your new VM. So once you're done with the conversion, you create a VM guest using the right raw image format for everything. You can use the BUI, you can use the CLI. I went for the CLI. I'm an old-fashioned guy from this perspective. So you specify, the command is ODA CLI create VM. You specify the name, the number of cores you would like to use, amount of memory. VMs is actually the abbreviation of VM storage that specifies which VM storage or ACFS file system will host your system image disk. Then you specify the network or networks you would like to attach to the VM, and then the source. And here, see, it's the same raw format system image disk that we created in the previous step here. So practically, you give the converted system image file as a template as source. And then some additional parameter, -GVNC listen 000 means you can access the VNC terminal or the console practically via VNC on the public network, so you don't have to play with SSL tunnels and so on and so forth. By default, the VNC terminal is, or the console's VNC terminal is not available through the public network. But to make my life easy, I lifted these restrictions with this parameter. And if you have additional vdisks, then you have to add one more flag, -vdisks or -vd. They are the same. And you can provide a comma-separated list and attach the vdisks to your guest. And then just click on enter, and you have to wait a few minutes. It depends on the size of the converted image, because practically what it does, it creates an ACFS snapshot under this VM storage and copy the template file under that location, and then it attaches the vdisks in the config file and just start the VM guest. And once done, you will get status success, and you can log into to your VM. You just need to figure out the VNC display port, and you can do it in two ways. I will show you it later in a short demo. Practically, you can use wish list. From wish list, you see the your guest and the name of your guest, and also the ID of the guest. And you can use VNC display and the ID or the name. They are equivalent. And then it will give you the port. So after that, you use the in the VNC terminal, you can use the IP of the bare metal machine plus the port in your VNC viewer. And there is one more step you have to complete, obviously, because usually if you migrate your legacy environment to a new platform, in this case ODA, usually the IPs also change and the network configuration also changes. So you have to log into the guest through the console. So this is actually the Fedora Linux screen, and the normal way, like you would do it on any generic Linux deployment, or it can be Windows as well. You have to change the network configuration, and once you completed the network configuration change, then your job is done, and you can connect to the machine, and everything works as expected. But let's access ODA. I created a VM storage for my guest, and then, I mean, let me speed it up. It got created within a minute or so, and then okay. And then here is the OVA file, same as you could see on Confluence, and I just need to untar it, as you can see it here, and then convert it into raw format. And once done, you have to create a VM using the converted file as a template for your VM, and actually it will run for a short period of time, but eventually you get the the success or the completion. Okay, just a second. And here you can see that your system image has the same name like the name of the guest in the VM ODA CLI create VM command. You can see the size. This was the source or the template that we used. This is the display port you can use via VNC to connect to it, the memory that I assigned to it, vCPUs, and unfortunately you don't see the lower part, but you can see the public network as well, that it has been attached to the guest. And as I told you earlier, you can get the VNC display port in two ways. The second one is wish list, and either you use the ID or the name of the guest. You can see or you can get the same port ID. Okay, and the last one that I would like to show is actually, so I connected via Tiger VNC to the console, and this is the Fedora console, and you connect to it. It's VNC, so it's not super fast. And then you have to go to the network settings from here. You can access it. Then IPv4. It depends on your configuration, because obviously if you use DHCP, then nothing to do. But in my case, I had to set the IPs net mask gateway, and I also made a mistake first because this was 95 and not 96, and I was wondering why it doesn't work. And you set the DNS, reconnect, and practically job done. So I tested it with bbc.com, and we can see a nice picture from Trump. So that's how it works. I think my simple demo proved that it is very simple, nothing to worry about, or customers should not have any concerns about the complexity of such a conversion. And I will pass the word to Ruggero, because I showed you a step-by-step way, but he has a much more simple solution to do it via the tool that he developed.
The tool we are speaking about, it's a tool that I developed 7 years ago. Initially, it was just for generic environment, means that it was designed to work on a Linux box where you may have KVM or VirtualBox. And the idea of the tool was to automate several projects. In particular, as the name of the tool may suggest, the idea was to manage the import-export of the VM from, or to OVA, over template, or to Oracle OCI. And one of the features of Inmex for VM is also to give you the possibility to configure automatically based on Cloud Init stuff a VM. Of course, in that case, you must have a template. It could be a Nova template or a Q2 template cloud init ready. In example, if you go on this website, Oracle website, you can have this kind of template in two forms, OVA or Kiko, based on the Oracle Linux version. All of them are cloud init ready. And using the utility, you can set up automatically the VM. Of course, if the OVA template is something that you have exported from VMware, KVM, or VMware, you can import such template, such VM into your host. Now, say that discussing with Chris and Dagen, so I decided to announce Emacs for VM in order to use it on ODA. Actually, it's not public yet. We have public actually is the generic tool that is not supporting ODA yet. The latest version, indeed, that is public is 2.03, but the one that is now supporting ODA is 2.04. So then, of course, the requirements to have that version that I will make public soon. I will say by this week, I hope. I need to complete all my tests. And then one other requirement is to have OCI CLI installed on OVA. If you want to, of course, use the entire power of Emacs for VM. Let me share something more in detail. The command line, let me see. So basically, these are the possibility that you have with Emacs for VM. Basically, you can, from ODA, actually, you can provision automatically a VM on OCI, okay? It's just a matter of pass the required parameters, for which, of course, you need to have OCI CLI installed. If you pass all these parameters, or the requirement, I would say, you can deploy from your ODA a VM on OCI cloud. The OC get info, it's a function for which you can get information about your cloud stuff. In example, if I pass this information, I want to have the VCN subnet information and the image list, because later I want to provision something in our cloud. So basically, from here, you can have the OCI ID of your VCN and the subnet, and then you can choose the operating system and the version that later you can use on OCI provision in terms of OCI OS version, and the image you want to use. And with this command, automatically from your ODA, you will have a VM running on OCI. You have also the list VM, for which, in example, of course, this is a quite simple stuff. You can get the list of the VM running on ODA, but of course, if you run these commands on a Linux host where KVM is installed, you need to pass, in example, KVM. Of course, now the perspective is from Vish perspective, okay? Because there is no ODA. In case this one was not an ODA environment, of course, you haven't the ODA CLI commands, and then you must use the KVM, and so on with VirtualBox. Now, let's suppose you want to import something into your ODA, okay? So you can import a template. Here I have a couple of templates. I have a Kiko template and Nova template. In this example, I want to show you how simple it is to set up a VM with cloud init. One of the commands that are possible with Emacs for VM is the make. The make means the possibility to make the cloud init configuration that later will be used by the VM to make it as you need. As you can see, you can define the network. If you want a public or let's say a fixed IP or DHCP, you can set up a user, password, the SS key, and some other stuff. You can also do something powerful. You can pass a custom script. A custom script, it's an example here. Let me show you. That it's making a different banner at the login page on your VM. But here, you can make it complex as you want. Means that you can install package that you need. Just add, the YAM or DNF commands to do it. You can configure your, let's say, kernel parameters with the right commands and so on. Now, let's suppose you have already defined, like in this case, the custom script, and you want to make the cloud init stuff. You need just execute. This is an example, okay? I want later a VM with a specific IP, with a specific user, with specific password, and I want to use a specific public key for SH key connection. This is quite fast. An ISO file is created because that ISO will be automatically mounted on the VM when I'm executing the import. The import command is quite simple. Okay, this is the commands. I can pass the VM name, the number of CPU, the memory, which is the ODA repository I want to store my VM, and the public network that I want to use. Of course, I need to say, okay, I'm on ODA, then the provider, in this case, is ODA. Of course, if you are, again, in a generic Linux host where you have KVM, you need to pass KVM. If you have VirtualBox, you need to pass VirtualBox. And then I'm using the Kiko template, that it's a cloud init template. Now let's finish the command. As you can see here, automatically the cloud init it's managed. The VM is registered on ODA DCS. Okay. Let's finish and complete the commands. Okay. Now I can use ODA list VMs to see what I have. You see a new VM is now present. I can do the same with, of course, import-export commands, list VM, provider OVA. Of course, I'm using the same commands to show the VM. Now I can start it. Start VM. Anyway, you can see that the header is quite particular because you see welcome to Oracle Linux blah blah by Emacs4 VM, and you have also an entry about the ATH0 with the IP. Okay. Now this banner is coming from the configuration file that I showed you before. Let me come back to the command line. If you remember, I done this custom script. Okay, this is the banner I've created, and I show you just a few seconds above. Okay, because you remember, welcome to blah 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 by Emacs4 VM, and I was showing you the IP. This is what is doing this banner. Okay, and this banner is in use by the cloud init that I have configured. Now I can connect Rackpack. You remember that I have defined a Rackpack user for that VM, and I can use, of course, the IP I defined in the cloud init. Yes, welcome one with the password, and see I'm inside now. And of course, if from this host I'm connecting as Rackpack, where I have a key that automatically I have configured into the VM. I can go without any password request. Let me see. No, it's asking for, okay, in some case. Oh yes, because I need to pass the key ID, OCI. Okay, so you see, I'm inside the VM. And this automatically, without anything complex, just providing the config, the cloud init config file that I have created with Emacs for VM. Of course, as you remember, we have a new VM. Let me show again. I can export that VM as of a template. Let me do these commands. So practically from Emacs for VM, I can export my VM running on ODA. You see, provider ODA. I want to export this VM and I want to have this template. Let me see, it's up and running, of course, is not supported. Then I need to stop it. So the CLI, stop VM -n. Let me stop it. Okay, now we stop it. Now I can export that VM as template. You see, automatically the utility is making the disk, the virtual disk, that it's a Kiko to VMDK, because OVA, it's a standard that it's expecting a VMDK disk inside. So then it's making the conversion automatically for you. Okay, it's getting sometimes. Okay, let me show. This is the file. Let me show you which kind of file. You see, it's a tar archive, as expected. Of course, having that template, I could move it on KVM host, on VirtualBox, or whatever. Or also, I can also import. Let's suppose that I want to import that template into this ODA, and in this case, I want to change the name. I can do, of course, this kind of action, just passing a different VM name. The utility is checking the VM storage, is checking for the virtual network, and so on. And then see, actually, it's converting the VMDK disk into the OVA template as Kiko automatically, and then registering the VM into the DCS. Stopping, and now we can see the new VM. Let me show you here. The CLI list VMs. You see the new VM, it's here.